Hello, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Brad, and because we all like to do a bit for the environment, I want to show you today how to make some reusable kitchen towels. Instead of just using rolls and rolls of paper towels to wipe up your messes, you can just stitch yourself up some ultra absorbent, brightly coloured cotton towels that you can use for wiping up messes. I wouldn't suggest you clean the floor with them unless you use black fabric. But what I've got in the centre of this is some stuff called Zorb. It's ultra absorbent wadding. You can use 100% cotton wadding or bamboo wadding. I've used this specifically because it's supposed to absorb about 20 times its weight in water. I've cut my squares of Zorb or wadding to 18 centimetres square, and I've cut my squares of brightly coloured fabric. I've got a nice green gingham here and some lovely pineapples. These have been cut to 20 centimetres square. So we'll do our normal trick of sewing all the way around the outside of these, but leaving one little gap in the middle of one edge for turning. I'll just pin these corners so it doesn't slip out of place. And a 5mm seam allowance and about a 2-3mm long straight stitch is absolutely fine for this. And I'm just going to stop on this corner because there's one important thing that I forgot to do, but it's fine. What I want is I want a hanging tag on my towels, and it's a lot easier to pop it in while you're sewing around the outside. And quite simply, this is a strip which is about 22 centimetres by 5 centimetres. Finger press in both long edges so it looks like a wide bias binding strip, and then fold or bring those two folded edges up to meet each other and just top stitch it. So it gives you a nice sturdy hanging loop. And then if you just fold that in half, and where I stopped sewing on, I can't remember where I stopped sewing, on this corner here, if you just pop the loop inside your bag, like so, so the raw ends are hanging out of it. And then we'll just go over that a couple of times to make sure it's secure. And then carry out on up the side of the bag, but leaving about a 6 or 7 centimetre gap. So now you're thinking, well, that's all very well, but where's the absorbent stuff? What you then want to do is lay this absorbent mat in the middle, and I'm just going to pin it in place at the corners. You need to put your finger inside to pin it at the corners. And this is just really so that when you turn it the right way out, you're not fiddling about trying to get it central. So you just want to pin it through one layer of the fabric. And also pin it from the centre out, because by the time you've turned this inside out, trying to get a pin out the other way around is really difficult. So you need to take a bit of care, because obviously you have got those pointy pins. But you should now be able to turn your bag the right way out through the gap. Just be mindful of where those pins are because you don't want to stab yourself. Okay, and then use the point of your closed scissors. Don't ever be tempted to use that sharp point because if you're a bit heavy-handed, you will go straight through your fabric. Just poke out your corners. And then you can lay it flat. And what you've got is your square is nice, your square of wadding is nice and flat inside there. So I'm just going to take these pins out, if I can find where the head of the pin is. It's always really useful to use glass-headed pins so that you can find them more easily. I'm just going to pin it back through both layers of fabric just to keep that wadding in the right place. Somewhere down the line here, I appear to have lost a pin. Nothing up my sleeve. Oh, there it is. Another little tip actually, if you ever do that, if you ever find that you've lost a pin inside your work and then you can find it again because it is a glass-headed pin, one of the best tricks that I've ever learned is if you can force the point of the pin out of the fabric and then simply break up that head of the pin with a hammer. You will get little bits of grit left inside it, but it means you haven't got a sharp, pointy pin left inside it. And it does save you unpicking it all. So, I'm just going to fold in the raw edges of that gap. And you can either slip stitch them closed, or you can top stitch them closed as you go around the outside of your reusable towel. Threads coming out everywhere here. So let's just go around the outside. Oh, and I'm going to change this to my overcast stitch foot because that's got a really nice 2mm seam guide on that. Oh. Never know where the end of my fabric is. Yeah, it was there. So what that top stitch has done around the edge there is given a nice straight square edge, but it's still not holding your wadding in place. I'm just going to move these pins to the right side of the fabric so I know where they are. So I'll swap my foot back. And run a parallel line of stitching around the inside, just using the edge of my foot as a seam guide. and this should hold your wadding in place so that when it goes through the sewing machine it doesn't get rucked up inside. And when I said sewing machine, I actually meant washing machine. These ends of thread before I finish it off. Otherwise, sometimes if you leave them too long, they will get caught up in your other stitches. And there you go. Now these ones I've made here, I've actually done 2 parallel lines of stitching, just for a decorative effect. But it's quite simple. You can hang it up next to your sink, on the back of the kitchen door, and as soon as you get a spill, you can just lay it on there, mop it up, and then they wash in the machine so easily. Nice bright colours for a nice bright kitchen. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you make some of your own reusable kitchen towels, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.